The two winningest programs in the CAA's history tangle for home field advantage in next week's conference tournament. Number 10 Hofstra and number 19 Towson. Their regular season finale is coming up next on Lac Sports Network.
Beautiful look. The shot. Works out of an 8, baby.
Lac Sports Network is proud to present the CAA Game of the Week. Today live from Johnny Unitas Stadium in Towson, Maryland. The number 10 Hofstra Pride visit the number 19 Towson Tigers. And alongside Mark Dixon, Brendan Glasheen, welcome inside the broadcast booth. A win and you get the number 1 seed in the CAA tourney. Mark, there's probably no better feeling than knowing you can host a conference tournament.
You want to be able to control your own destiny at this time of the year, and Towson and Hofstra have that luxury here right now. Win, and you get home field advantage, number 1 seed for the Colonial Athletic Association tournament.
Towson's defense has been stellar all season long, one of the best in the conference when it comes to goals against average, but Josh Byrne has something to say about that.
Josh Byrne is a tremendous talent for the Hofstra Pride. Big body, lefty, very creative. Watch this goal last year against Georgetown between the legs, but he coming off the wing, coming off the edge. When he gets to the center of the field, perhaps no one in the conference is tougher to stop than number 42 in the blue and gold, and he's got great vision as well. 24 assists on the season, so you got to slide hard, but you have to also be cognizant of his vision. And when you talk about vision, Towson, Ryan Drenner, he is the quarterback of this Towson offense. Crafty at getting underneath off ball, but make no mistake about it, he is a ball carrier first, a distributor second, a shooter third. He can beat you off the edge as well. He really is going to have to up his game here today. This is a Towson offense that struggled mightily a week ago against Fairfield.
And Drenner, co-CAA Player of the Year a year ago. He's up to 21 goals on the season. You put the two side by side. You wonder which one can facilitate the best and get their other teammates involved. That might be the key today.
Yeah, and you mentioned the other teammates. The freshman Ryan Tierney for Hofstra has been a tremendous goal scorer. Joe Sider, the outside bomber, and Joe Mazza has stepped up lately as well with a couple of goals in the last handful of games. So both these guys are complemented well with talent around them.
Our gut tells us that if one of these guys plays well, their team will take the win and get home field next week. We'll have the opening face-off from Johnny Unitas Stadium coming up next on Lac Sports Network.
Lacrosse Central is your one-stop shop for highlights and post-game interviews from around college lacrosse. Tune in every Saturday afternoon as we showcase and break down the best men's and women's games of the day. Lacrosse Central, every Saturday afternoon, all season long, only on Lac Sports Network.
You don't want to miss the newest show to hit the Lac Sports Network programming lineup, LaxFit, a show dedicated to providing smart exercise and training guides, tips, information, and demonstrations for the lacrosse athlete. We take you behind the scenes with RPM Lacrosse founder and director Malcolm Chase to show you how to train with workouts specifically designed for lacrosse players. LaxFit, only on Lac Sports Network. It's all Laxness.
And back here at Johnny Unitas Stadium, Towson and Hofstra battling for the number 1 seed in the CAA. Hofstra at 11-1, Towson 7-4. Mark Dixon alongside Brendan Glasheen. We'll take a look at Jack Concannon. He is in net today. One of the top goalies in the country, preseason 3rd selection for All-America. He has a chance to be on the first team, Mark. 59 save percentage, that's 4th in the country. Almost 12 saves a game, that's 13th in the nation. And averaging just a little over 8.5 goals allowed per game. That's top 15 as well.
Concannon is special. He is a backbone of this Hofstra team. He has made terrific progress throughout his career up on Long Island, and he is one of the game's best.
And for Towson, it's Matt Hoy, a senior from Gaithersburg, Maryland. He has started all 3 road games in conference action for Towson. He played 6 games in each 2015 and 2016. He is getting the nod today. Why do you think Coach Nadalin goes to him?
He's a senior. It's senior day, and we saw the seniors for Towson just recognized a couple of minutes ago. He's going to have to be big. Only 6 saves a week ago, allowing 9 goals against Fairfield. It was a wide-open competition between him and Josh Miller, and Hoy gets the nod.
Alex Woodall of Towson at the X against Kyle Gallagher, a freshman for Hofstra. Towson, you see 58%. That is tops in the conference. And Woodall smoothly wins the first face-off. We're underway from Johnny Unitas Stadium. Beautiful end of April afternoon. Here's Woodall attacking the crease. Lost the handle. Outlet by Jack Kunkanen. Transition for Hofstra.
Well, you saw Towson win that face-off clean. It's almost like Hofstra gave them the face-off, then just locked down on the rest of the Tigers, made Woodall go to the goal. Tanner Griffin hounded him, harassed him, and forces the turnover right into Kunkanen's stick. So even though Hofstra lost that face-off, great execution on locking down the rest of the Tigers.
Hofstra boasts the best goals per game average in the league, 11.83 per game. Also leads the conference in assists with 6.75 a contest. Kavanaugh gives it off. Here's Dylan Alderman. Now they dump it. Jimmy Yanis, has scored in 7 straight games for the Pride. What's also special about this Pride team, 6 players with at least 20 points offensively. Alderman attacking the shot right in the chest of Hoy. He reels it in.
Josh Byrne with the offering. Hoy just held his position, got tall, made himself bigger, and is able to absorb that shot. Got to feel good if you're Towson, getting that first save under your belt after the goaltending's been so shaky in 2017.
Towson's transition man, Zach Goodrich. He's a pesty short stick midi. Gets it over the midfield line. Towson coming into this one, lost at Fairfield 9-8. A game in which Sean Nadelin, the head coach, said we didn't do enough to finish them off. We'll look at the keys to the game. And mark 1 for Hofstra for sure, playing a full 60 minutes.
And that's their lone loss of the season. They had a 7-goal advantage at halftime to Drexel. Coughed that up. Towson, short memory. And that's for the whole team, but Matt Hoy in particular as a goaltender. Shake off the loss to Fairfield last week, their only blemish in conference play, and come out on senior day, on your home field, win this game and get the number 1 seed in the CAA tournament.
Mike Lynch dumps it down to Drenner. Smooth operation so far for Towson on this possession. Bolowicki, the bounce shot, comes up empty. Tyler Conan regains for the Tigers. Lynch has it back. He's from Forest Hill, Maryland. Had 1 goal against Fairfield last game.
Both these offenses very patient, and the officials are allowing them to be patient here in the early going.
Drenner maneuvers the pass off. Sider's shot good, but a whistle right after his release.
They're saying Ryan Drenner, number 22, who fed Sider, stepped in the crease. Crease violation kills the play. Goal is no good. Hofstra dodges a bullet.
First to notice it for Hofstra was Jack Kunkanen. Now his scramble for the ground ball near side. More poking after it by the long stick, Tyler Mays.
Mays with a great takeaway check. And then when the Hofstra player was on the ground, a punishing smack to finish him off and get the turnover for Towson.
First Hofstra turnover. Almost 4 minutes in, first quarter. Final regular season game for both teams. Hofstra, of course, 11-1, a special season. Started 10-0 for the first time in program history. Knocked off a couple of weeks ago by Drexel. And Hofstra was number 2 in the nation.
Yeah, it's just one you talk about Coach Seth Tierney. Just can't really put your finger on anything. You know, you're up 7 goals at home, a Saturday night, and the Dragons give Drexel all the credit in the world for coming back and winning that game.
Feed middle again, right in front of the crease. But Hofstra's got it off the deflection. You know, something too, Coach Tierney, or pardon, Coach Nadelin points out, despite that loss, I mean, Hofstra's such a strong first half team, outscoring teams 31-9 in the first half this season.
Towson so far has controlled play. They had a goal taken away on that cut. Great look inside, just a mishandle by the Towson offensive player. Got to be more crisp, especially this time of year. Can't make those kinds of mistakes. Got to catch and finish when the opportunities present themselves.
Mosier whips it over to Kavanaugh. Defensively today, Calvin Livingston, a junior, got the start with Chad Patterson and Sid Ewell. We'll probably see Ewell on this man all day. For now, it's Tierney. Could be Josh Byrne as well. Towson in a zone look here defensively.
Another thing to note about Hofstra, they only run about 6 deep offensively. Hot
Tough
day,
shot.
warm day here in Towson.
Hoy, a big save. Yanis tried to clean up the mess. Hoy with 2 saves. Good start for the senior.
Matt Hoy looks terrific here in the early going. First save on Byrne on Hofstra's first possession. Watch him match stick on stick. Gets low. Was actually compromised. He was on his backside before the shot was taken, but he matched stick on stick, able to fight it away. But flag down, a slash against Towson. The Pride will enjoy the first extra man opportunity of this game.
This year on the man up. Hofstra's second in the conference, 43%, 17 extra man goals. Long pole covering middle. Bouncer flips wide.
Bad
Good chance
pass.
here for Towson to kill it.
Bad pass out of bounds, turnover. Both these teams in the early going, I don't know if it's nerves, but they look a little sloppy.
Under 9 to play in the first quarter. Matt Hoy getting the start in net for Towson. Sean Nadelin, the head coach in year number 6 with the Tigers, he admitted to us that was a tough call. It wasn't a great week for either goalie. He admitted that to us, but overall both have been solid. Josh Miller is still 9th in the nation for goals against average, just under 8. We'll see how it plays out today. Of course, Hoy getting the nod on senior day for Towson. This is Conan on the end line for the Tigers. Tyler Young, another senior, 23, in black and white. A win today for either team clinches home field advantage in next Thursday's CAA tournament, Thursday and Saturday. Could be on Long Island, it could be right back here in Towson, Maryland. Young sets a screen. They whip it back up top. Tough look. Lynch off the mark. Towson does back it up though. It's Ryan Drenner. You said it, he's the oil, he's the quarterback. And so far he's been trying to hang out, he's getting doubled here.
Had a great look inside to Sider.
Little jab step by Conan. Lynch winds up and fires, and Concannon dribbles it to himself. He's got the save. Both goaltenders have been solid thus far. Still nothing midway through this first quarter. New players spill out on both sides. Quick dish to the left for Josh Byrne. Byrne got tangled up. Off the bounce, Hoy clears it, gets it over midfield. Numbers for Towson. Conan will pull up on the brakes. And you can tell there's a strong emphasis here to really slow things down offensively, get high percentage shots.
They had something on the substitution game, did Towson, but Hofstra credit the Pride for getting that third defender quickly on the field. Otherwise, it would have been a 3-on-2. Conan recognized it and wisely decided to pull it out and wait for his reinforcements to come in. But yeah, this is CAA lacrosse. You know, it's not the most high-scoring conference. It's built on defense. It's built on goaltending. Very capable offensive players, don't get me wrong, but you're seeing both these defenses stepping up here early.
Conan over to Sider. Conan's got it back, loops it over the top, middle. Disruption on the shot. Nicely done, Brendan Lynch, a short stick. Junior from Lake Forest, California. Bothers the Towson offense.
Great play by Lynch. He's the one that came out of the substitution box late. Towson had the advantage, and he's the one that came to make the trail check on the shooter, the extra body that was on the field for Towson.
Previous shot, a rocket from Griffin Barnathan, sophomore midi from Massapequa, New York. As you can imagine, many coming out of that town to play for the Hofstra Pride, just like the son of Coach Tierney, Ryan Tierney. He's got it right now. Now it's Burns' turn to operate on Chad Patterson. He's 6'3", 200 pounds on the defensive side for the Tigers. Goodrich facing Alderman. Alderman fires, it skitters in, and the first goal to Hofstra.
Hofstra goal number 23, Dylan Alderman, unassisted, your score.
Alderman just gets ahead of steam. This is not bad defense. You force him down the alley. Alderman is going away from the goal. But watch this little twist. And Hoy was on it. He saw it, just didn't get enough of it to keep it out of the back of the net. So a little bit of a double-edged sword. You're happy that your goalie's seeing the ball. He's made a couple of great stops, but that's one he probably should have had.
Goodrich was defending on the Towson side, the short stick midi. Goodrich, a first-team mid-season selection All-American. So it looks like a violation at the faceoff X by Gallagher. He's just a freshman. Gallagher last game against UMass, 8 for 27 at the X. A win though for Hofstra, bouncing back from that Drexel loss. 15-8 victory at home. Chris Clark for Hofstra still battling injury, a foot injury. Did not play in the Minutemen game. Outlet. Lynch got the step. Lynch fires, and he goes top shelf to tie the score.
See Lynch taking congratulations from his teammates. Terrific answer for Towson after the Alderman goal. The face-off violation. The Tigers able to get the proper personnel on the field. Hofstra really packing it in. And that's just a great recognition by Lynch. Collects the feed, fakes the shot, face dodge. The lost art of the face dodge right here. Great job getting inside that Hofstra defense and then laying it past Kincannon. It's one thing to get by that initial defender, but then trying to solve Kincannon is a whole nother issue, and he did a great job of freezing him and then putting it top shelf.
13th goal of this season for senior Mike Lynch. Played at Boys Latin High School, one of the most dominant high schools in the area. And he was there. Boys Latin was #1 in the country his entire senior year 4 years ago. Just over 4 minutes to play, first quarter. Woodall the face-off victory. And Towson looking to take the lead.
It's going to be make it take it, at least from what we've seen in the face-offs. Hofstra has to try to generate some possessions. Turnovers, saves by Kincannon, any 50-50 ground ball, they're going to have to come up with it.
Drenner draws the double. Shot by Bolowicki. Stop Kincannon. Ground ball lollipops in the air. Sider racing for it. Reels it in. Now an opening for Bolowicki. Got the middle. And just a little bit wide. He sails it upstairs.
What a great save by Kincannon. That was a nasty delivery. Far post by Kincannon. Excuse me, by Bolowicki, and Kincannon get that right foot out just to fight it off. Terrific stop.
Here's Matt Wiley. You can see Drenner really dodging hard, and Bolowicki firing again to flex off the right side. Bolowicki's already got 2 shots on goal. He had 2 shots in the entire Fairfield game last weekend for the Tigers.
When you think about this Towson senior class honored before the game today. Quarterfinalists a year ago. CAA champions as well. They won the CAA back in 2015 too. So this is a senior class that has had a ton of success, and they've been in this big game situation many times throughout their career.
Drenner comes up short. Wiley backs it up. Sean Nadalin, year number 6. He's got 3 CAA titles since 2012.
He's done a great job with this program, as has Ryan Tierney with Hofstra. Both of them know each other extremely well. Tierney coaching Nadalin his senior year, 2001, at Johns Hopkins. Now they've coached against each other for a number of years.
Towson with great patience.
And we've seen no shot clocks, which I don't have a problem with, because the teams are being selective, but they're not being passive. They are trying to go to goal, just like there, Joe Sider. They are trying to find cracks in each other's defenses. So, but right now, I think Towson just dominating possession and dominating possession time. And Hofstra, this is not a bad thing for the Pride if they can make stops, because again, they really only run about 6 deep offensively. It's a hot, humid day here in Towson, upwards of 80 degrees. So these long defensive, then the flip side of that is the Towson defense is going to have to be stout and make Hofstra work for it. And Hofstra's going to want to take some time on offense to give this defense a rest.
Drenner twirls around a couple of blue jerseys. Drenner's second shot attempt. Hofstra to take control here.
It's the right call. I know the Towson bench doesn't like the call, but it's when and where the ball goes out. And because of the positioning of that shot and the headiness of the long stick for the Pride, he took a better angle. Well, they say the ball doesn't lie, though. So maybe it wasn't the right call, as it goes right out of bounds against Hofstra. Possession back over to Towson.
Luke Gomez gets it punched away by the long stick Tyler Mays. Second impact play for him in this first quarter.
2 takeaways, 2 CTs, caused turnovers by number 33 in white. He's having a heck of a first quarter.
He's got 17 caused turnovers in conference play, 31 for the season. Just about 2.7 a game. That's 4th best in the country. Minute to play in the first. Knotted at 1. Alderman a goal for Hofstra to get it started. Mike Lynch for Towson. Conan feeds. Lynch again, why not? But Concannon pulls it in.
Love the way Towson sharing the ball. Great low to high offense. That feed was a bullet handled by Lynch. And then he just got mano a mano. Concannon staring down Lynch. Lynch brought everything he had, and Concannon, great save. Had to fight that one off.
Seth Tierney calls him a thumb guy. I like that one. Never heard that one before, but he points the thumb at himself. He is fully aware of the fact that he can, take the blame off himself. He is all about it. He wants to take the blame. He wants to take this team to new heights. Tied at 1, 10 seconds to play in this first quarter. Alderman has already scored today. Gives it off to Byrne. Byrne feet underneath the cage. And a couple of extra passes for Hofstra don't pay off. End of the first quarter from Johnny Unitas Stadium in Towson, Maryland. CAA tournament home field advantage at stake, and the two teams through 15 minutes tied 1-1. We'll step aside and come back for the second quarter. It's the CAA Game of the Week on Lacrosse Sports Network.
Share the experience with your family.
Johnny Unitas Stadium, the site, end of the first quarter, just about to start the second. Hofstra won, Towson won, with Mark Dixon, Brendan Glasheen, Jack Concannon, 3 saves, living up to his excellent season in that first quarter.
Gives up just over 8 goals a game, saving about 60%. Concannon, technologically, fundamentally sound, keeps his feet, doesn't guess. Look at this nasty shot by Mikey Lynch, just read all the way by Concannon. That was good heat and placement, offside stick by Lynch, but Concannon just gobbled it right up.
News earlier this week, both Concannon and Josh Byrne representing not just Hofstra, but the CAA Tewaaraton Award semifinalists. And you think, Mark, he's got a chance to be a first-team All-American in cage.
When you look at the goaltenders around Division I, I think it really boils down to 2 goalies that are tops. It's Concannon of Hofstra and Benny Pugh out of Richmond, who's been sensational for Dan Chamati's Spiders in 2017. Carson Bannister from Boston University can be maybe in that equation, but when you look at those big-time goalies in 2017, Concannon right there in the mix with the elite and really the potential to be a first-team All-American.
First face-off victory for Kyle Gallagher, freshman for Hofstra. Woodall took all 3 in the first quarter. Gallagher was an excellent face-off man in high school. He attended St. Anthony's on Long Island, 80% conversion rate. Tierney attempting to dodge out in front. Loose ball, Goodrich the short stick reaching. On the ricochet though, it's Brendan Kavanaugh. Hofstra's got the lead back.
Hofstra goal number 27, Brendan Kavanaugh, unassisted.
Looks like Towson trying to say that Tierney was withholding the ball when he got sent to the turf. Little too much mano-a-mano for Hofstra. Josh Byrne, Tierney goes into that double team. There you see the ball just sitting there. And a little flick out by Tierney. Imagine a face-off man recognizes his wing is in position now, and you saw Tierney just goose the ball to Kavanaugh. Watch this. Good double team. Bad decision by Tierney. Locates the ball, and watch, he pops it to Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh picks it up and sticks it. I don't think that will show up as an assist, but that is a heady play by Ryan Tierney.
Scramble for the ground ball.
You can see the Towson players were all saying Tierney withheld the ball.
And a timeout for Seth Tierney and Hofstra. Both sides fired up.
Well, it's getting really physical out there. You can see that the Hofstra players are chirping at Towson as they come by. You're going to see the timeout call. Hear the timeout call. Now watch this hit. That's continuation. No real problem with the no call right there, as it was continuation as the player was already coming into the Hofstra player when he picked the ball up offensively. But then as Towson was making their way back to their bench, you could see Hofstra giving them the business. So this business has definitely picked up over the last couple of minutes here between Hofstra and Towson.
Yeah, Woodall sort of poked his long stick in there. We take a look at the standings, and last night Drexel fell to UMass, so that means Hofstra has the opportunity to host if they win today. We've already told you Towson has a chance if they win today, if they win today's game. UMass is locked into that 3 spot with the win last night. A very good win for the Minutemen. DJ Smith had 15 saves in cage for Greg Canella's team. As far as you're concerned, what do you make of, we know about these 2 teams that we touched on today, but what about UMass and Drexel and their chances in this tournament next week?
Well, I think the first thing that we should hit on is Delaware. We say goodbye to Bob Schillinglaw. Last night was his final game as the leader of the Blue Hens. They dropped a tough game to Fairfield, so congratulations to Bob Schillinglaw. But, I mean, in UMass and Drexel, you've got very capable, dangerous teams. And you want, when you set goals in the beginning of a season, you just want to give yourself an opportunity to play for a conference championship and then an NCAA tournament bid. UMass and Drexel have both done that, and now it's the second season. Begins next Thursday for these ball clubs. And UMass and Drexel are sitting there. Drexel's obviously going to get the #1 seed. If it's Hofstra, we already beat the Pride. If it's Towson, that's going to be a great game. And then UMass is just, they're kind of playing with house money in the 3-4 seeds. So nothing's really expected of them. It's really expected to come down to Towson and Hofstra to battle for a championship. So nothing to lose, everything to gain, and let's just go out and play lacrosse.
Home field is on the line today. Yanis weaving as Livingston defending. He got the start today, not typically a starter for the Towson defense. Tight movement, and the shot coming by Alderman. Whistles wide. Alderman's got 1 goal today. Tierney backs it up. He's got Sid Ewell covering him. Now, do you think they'll mix up looks in terms of where they'll put Ewell? Maybe they'll throw Ewell on to Josh Byrne at some point?
Yeah, I think Ewell is the #1 cover guy, without question, for Towson. And I think they might feel that Tierney could be the more dangerous threat, both off ball as well as on ball. Byrne is a guy who strays from the cage, but typically when he gets it, he's going. He's a different dodger, though, than Tierney. He's a little bit more physical, whereas Tierney relies more on quickness, and I think that's where Towson feels like Ewell is the better cover.
Tierney's got 26 goals in his freshman season. He's got it back. He fires, and it squirts right through Matt Hoy's legs. Make it 27 for Tierney. And a 3-1 lead for Hofstra.
Good offense. Tierney gives it up top. And then Ewell just basically ball watches. So here we see the dodge. Number 20 in white's looking right up the field. There's Tierney. And look at him just stick it. Low to high. Beautiful shot. Finds top shelf. Tierney is a great ball carrier, but off ball he is so dangerous. And look at that sweet shooting motion. All in the wrist. And he lets everybody know that 4-3 just got on the score sheet.
Ryan Tierney, most goals by a Hofstra freshman since 2006. 27, 5 on the man up this year. 4th in the league in goals a game. Just over 2 per contest for the freshman. Son of Seth Tierney, the head coach. Loved the line he used talking to us this week. It has to be crystal clear, and his son knew exactly what he meant by that. Crystal clear whether or not you're going to start and play for this team, and you're going to earn every minute of playing time.
It's difficult. I've coached both my kids at the youth level. Both are talented, but you still feel that little gnawing in the back of your mind. What are people saying because my kids are playing a little bit more than others? I can only imagine what it's like at the collegiate level to have your son play for you, and not only that, but earn that playing time. I mean, you look around Division I lacrosse, Pierre Byrne for Notre Dame, his father Jerry, the defensive coordinator at Notre Dame.
Sider scores on the top shelf. 112 in his Towson career, 20 for the season.
This one caught me off guard as I'm continuing to talk about father and son combos, but that is Joe Sider. Big body, coming up the side of the field. This is more of a time and room kind of guy, not an on-the-run shooter. But Sider gets topside, and the defense for Hofstra doesn't get a stick in the gloves. Give him a little bit too much room to operate with. The pick right there gave him some separation. And I think not only was I surprised at that quick release, but Kincannon in the Hofstra net was also surprised, and that one fooled.
Sider is not shy, though, to let it fire. He's got 84 shot attempts on the season. That does lead the team. Violation at the X.
Second one against Hofstra. One more, and we're going to have a flag down and a 30-second violation against the Pride, and then 30 seconds every one thereafter in the first half.
Should be noted as well, Chris Clark was just there for that faceoff. I believe he was on the one prior to, so Chris Clark is playing. Kyle Gallagher started today. He's a freshman. Clark getting a chance. He's a senior from Belmore, New York. Wiley drops down. As Young speeds up, he puts it through. Tie game.
Tiger goal number 23, Tyler Young, unassisted. Your score down. Hofstra 3, your Tiger.
Why not? It's senior day. Great run by Young. This is just a straight split dodge and speed. Beats his man up top. Slide is way far away, and look at him hammer it into the lower corner. Terrific placement, excellent velocity. Slide really didn't come at all. His Sider had popped up, and you got to stay on Sider because that's his sweet spot. Young takes advantage, cruises down the alley. That is a nifty shot by Tyler Young.
5th goal of the season for Tyler Young. Played at Arundel High School. He was also a football player for 4 years. As well as lacrosse. He had just one shot against Fairfield and did not score. There's Tyler Young losing his stick. Another violation at the X. Young possesses for Towson.
Well, Young just showing his versatility, sticking that last goal, and then he takes the wing on the face-off. Was battling for that loose ball. Got held, got pushed, got tripped up. Earns possession for the Towson Tigers.
Towson can take its first lead of the game here. Tigers have scored the last 2. They average about 9.4 goals a game. Tight windows on the dish out. Drenner had it out of reach. It was Dylan Kinnear, a sophomore attackman, who threw it wide of him. Hofstra ball.
And Kinnear was too concerned with trying to draw a flag. We saw the Hofstra player was up around his head a little bit. Kinnear's throwing his head back, trying to get the call instead of taking care of the ball. Great trail check by Tyler Mays. That is sweet.
Rebound goes down for Josh Byrne. Was not a premature celebration. Burns got his first of the afternoon.
We're going to have to take a look at this.
Yeah.
There's a flag down at midfield. Not sure what that's for. And then we had a quick trail check. Let's take a peek at this. Mays, great trail check right here. Ball's loose. And here we're going to see Byrne pick it up, drop it, and then bat it in. It looked like his right knee
I was going to say it was
on the crease line.
Your score now, Hofstra 4, Tigers 3.
But they're saying it counts. And now just trying to figure out what the penalty was for.
Goal was scored by number 22, Josh Byrne for
The
Hofstra.
referee put a hand up to signal play on, and then the ball's in the back of the net. Whatever flag was down, it was a technical foul because we're at even strength on the faceoff. So we got a good goal by Hofstra. Flag is wiped out by the score. Teams are at even strength.
Third time Hofstra has led. They battle at the X. Clark with the face-off victory. Towson has 5 face-off wins. Hofstra with 3.
That's not bad if you're the Pride, especially the way this game started out. Towson was dominant in the early going at the face-off dot.
Last year when these two teams played, April 30th, 2016, an 8-7 win for Towson at Short Stadium. There were 6 ties and 6 lead changes. It was a back-and-forth game just like this one.
That's CAA lacrosse to a T. Just nip and tuck. Very hotly contested affairs.
Turnover by Hofstra. Transition man is Jack Adams, the senior who didn't play against Fairfield. Off the ricochet. Some late movement. Goodrich couldn't put it home. Drenner had it out. Goodrich again slashing for it.
What a save by Kincannon on the crease.
Yep.
Shot was originally knocked down. Then the loose change picked up on the doorstep, and Kincannon jumping out of his shoes, making a terrific save. And man, that is why we've been talking about him throughout the broadcast. Here it is. Initial shot knocked down. I believe it's Drenner is going to know. Again, it's Goodrich with the shot. Look at Kincannon just jump up and say, not today. Not going to work.
4 saves now for Jack Kincannon. 3-time CAA Player of the Week. Outstanding junior campaign. It's funny to think they have him for another year.
Unbelievable.
Alderman, an opening. But it got poked away. Conan with his tippy toes out. Diving for it. Hofstra ball.
Alderman rings it off the pipe, and then the ball comes over midfield. That is not over and back. because it was not a turnover by the offense, but rather a shot off the post. And then Conan had a chance to pick it up, but credit to Hofstra D with keeping pressure on his backhand. It looked like he was pushed going to the end line. Conan was, but was he pushed or was he diving? I think it was a push, but it stays Hofstra ball.
Michael Diener, senior captain for Hofstra, was right on top of him. The defenseman had an active game against UMass, 15-8 win for Hofstra, 5 ground balls, 3 caused turnovers. Coming up on 7 minutes to go in this first half, and Hofstra clings to a 1-goal lead. The winner has the CAA tournament home field advantage. That starts next Thursday, and we'll have all the coverage on the Lacrosse Sports Network for both games, Drexel and UMass, the other 2 teams in this year's tournament. Alderman, feed middle. Tierney was right behind. Kavanaugh might have been the intended man.
Such a fun time of the year. Not just the CAA, but all the conferences now winding down, getting closer and closer to Selection Sunday. Everybody wants to win their conferences to get that automatic qualifier. Saw a tweet this morning by Terry Foy of Inside Lacrosse saying mathematically and tournament-wise, 41 of the 71 Division I men's lacrosse teams are still in contention for the postseason. You gotta love that about this sport.
That is unreal. Ewell just turned it over around midfield for Towson.
And I've never seen such a topsy-turvy year in terms of upsets, teams not being able to hold on to that #1 ranking. We'll have a new #1 again this week with Syracuse losing last night to North Carolina. But how tidy have these conference tournaments been? This is all for seeding. The 4th team field was set last week, really, with respect to who was going to be competing for the CAA tournament. Big Ten's the same way. Those 4 teams already locked in. It's all about seeding. So it's kind of weird how the conference slates have lined up where the rest of play has just been so disorganized and helter-skelter in 2017.
Mosier gives it a shot. Hoy with the stop. The term that gets thrown out often is parity. And heading into the year, so much parity, that battle for who would be #1 week after week. And like you said, Syracuse going down, there will be a new #1. We talked about this week. Already a lot of teams have already locked up their conferences, though, and it's coming into this final weekend in which we know what teams are going to be in their respective conference tournaments. The question is, how is it going to shake out? That's still a big question.
Yeah. The ACC was the same way. We knew Virginia was out, and that it was going to be Syracuse, Carolina, Notre Dame, and Duke. Last weekend shored up the seedings. Then, of course, last night, Carolina upsetting the Orange and Notre Dame outlasting Duke. But it's just kind of wild how it's worked out neatly in conference when everything else has been so messy. I mean, you got people trying to fill out the Inside Lacrosse Maverick Media Poll every week. You're taking hours and trying to use arithmetic and formulas and abacus and all other kinds of resources. Really took on a life of its own for a lot of people, and then the conference qualifiers have been so neat and tidy.
Drenner riding Brendan Lynch, the short stick, tightly.
I'll tell you what, these officials are letting these guys play. There's a lot of little grabs and holds and stuff that I'm seeing not called. This is a playoff atmosphere. This is a playoff game, really, for Towson and Hofstra.
Today's officials listed below. Mike Lynch getting covered up by Brendan Lynch. No relation. Lynch of Towson and Brendan Lynch of Hofstra. Both teams have 7 shots on goal. Towson with 2 more total shots, 15-13. As far as turnovers, Towson with 7, Hofstra with 6. Drenner keeps the oil in the tank, hits Bolowicki, back out to Drenner. Bolowicki, slight breathing room. Lynch has a team-high 4 shots thus far. He gets rid of it. Swung back to Tyler Young. Sean Nadelin wants to use his first timeout.
Not a bad call. Towson trying to penetrate this Hofstra defense, unsuccessful. You got just over 3 minutes left to go in the game. Burn a timeout. You can't take them with you, and just try to get something set up.
Yeah, we haven't seen a goal in 7 minutes on either side so far. Don't forget, like we've been telling you, next Thursday, one of these teams, Towson or Hofstra, will be hosting the CAA tournament. The semifinals are coming to Lax Sports Network. See the top 4 teams from the regular season square off for the right to be the tournament champion and earn an automatic berth into the NCAA tournament. The men's semifinals are set for May 4th, with the regular season champion acting as the host. The women's tournament will be right here at Johnny Unitas Stadium, May 5th. And see all 4 games live and exclusively on Lax Sports Network. The CAA Game of the Week on Lax Sports Network. It's all access. Mark Dixon alongside Brendan Glass-Sheen. It's that kind of day. You can wear short sleeves, shorts. Beautiful. And hopefully we have the same going into next week. It's crazy to think a month from now it is Memorial Day weekend. That is the weekend you want to get to, like we were just chatting about. Weather today sort of feels like Memorial Day weekend already.
It does. Hot and sticky. I'll take it. I'm a hot weather guy. I do not like cold weather at all. At all. Our booth is even cooled off a little bit here.
Yeah.
It's comfortable here. Johnny Unitas Stadium in Towson, but no, this is that's the crazy thing with lacrosse. It's you start in early to mid-February, and February around Baltimore was nuts this year. I mean, it was warmer and nicer weather in February than it was in March by far.
Yeah,
but
Towson had a game snowed out in March with Ohio State. It got moved from a Tuesday night to a Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah. And a big difference that made. I mean, instead of being 11 degrees, it was 13 degrees during that thing.
Kinnear gets rid of it. You done whining yet, Mark? You good?
Oh, I'm hey man. I didn't have to call the game or ref it. I'm fine. I watched it from my home. It was a nice 70 degrees in the Dixon household as I watched that game. You kidding me? But that's the thing about lacrosse. Once the weather turns nice, you realize there's only 3 or 4 weeks left in a regular season, and then you're talking tournament time and Memorial Day weekend, championship weekend. I mean, it's crazy.
Great feed middle by Drenner, mishandled by Sider. Gets punched away by Michael Diener. He's in transition for Hofstra. Off to Luke Gomez, short stick. And Byrne puts everyone on the map in the right spot with 2 minutes to play in this first half.
Not a bad play by Towson. I think they got the look they wanted, just couldn't get the shot on cage. Now we'll see Hofstra. They've got both timeouts left. Will Seth Tierney play through, or will he see what Towson's giving him and then try to make a play to goal? Because they do have some of the offensive personnel for the Tigers stuck on the field.
Hofstra started 10-0. Got all the way to number 2 in the country. Fell to Drexel a couple of weeks back, a bounce-back win over UMass. Patient with under 90 seconds left in this first half. Alderman has already scored today. Jack Adams covering him up. Tierney sets the low screen.
Wouldn't be surprised to see Hofstra get it down to a minute, then call time. Well, maybe a little. Minute 8. I thought we were going to maybe go down to a minute before they're going to burn their first TO.
Timeout Hofstra.
Seth Tierney wants to draw something up. Had just 1 2-goal lead. That was Hofstra 3-1. And speaking of these two just being nip and tuck in their series history, 6 titles for Towson, so 4 more titles since 2012 when Sean Nadelin got to Towson. He's won 3 championships. But head-to-head, I mean, these two so tight. In 4 of the last 5 meetings, Towson and Hofstra, they've been decided by 2 goals or less.
It's a great series, and talking with both coaches this week, Sean Nadelin of Towson, Seth Tierney of Hofstra, he said, hey, it's Hofstra-Towson lacrosse. It's CAA lacrosse. These two have definitely developed a tremendous rivalry. I mean, when you look at all 6 of the teams in the CAA, you can say that they're rivals. I mean, you look at Towson's body of work. Win over Fairfield by 4, Delaware by 2. Excuse me, that's Hofstra. They win over Fairfield by 4, beat Delaware by 2, lose to Drexel by 1. You know, kind of smack UMass around a little bit. Nice rebound win, but there's not a lot of separation between these teams. And that's what makes it so much fun in this conference.
As far as UMass, Coach Tierney was saying, they're sort of a rival for us too. It was at our place, especially in response to that loss to Drexel. So almost fitting to have two teams you want to really tangle with after a tough loss. So how do they set things up here, you think, for Hofstra offensively?
I think the initiation is obviously coming from the midfield. Kavanaugh and Alderman look for Ryan Tierney on a sneak. Man, we haven't called Josh Burns' name a whole lot today. Maybe they try to get him involved with a little bit of a dodge. Right now, just in a circle formation, trying to spread Towson out, and then Hofstra will go with the play that they think will be successful in getting them their 5th goal of the game.
Burns scored the game's last goal at the 10-minute mark of this quarter.
I don't think you can be really happy with that offering by Ryan Tierney. That was an all-or-nothing proposition, and now you still leave Towson with 40 seconds left to make something happen, and they do have a timeout.
Adams flips it over the top. Goodrich has it with 30 seconds to go. And Sean Nadalin will take his use it or lose it timeout.
Timeout, Towson.
You know what's interesting too is, and Mark, you said this before, in the CAA you're going to have those blue-collar defenses. Seth Tierney calls Sean Nadalin's defense blue-collar. What's funny is Seth Tierney, when he coached at Johns Hopkins, he had one of the best offenses in the nation back in the early 2000s. It doesn't feel at all that either team has pressed, even though we have 7 combined goals. Both have stayed aggressive. The numbers might not show for it in terms of the goals on each side.
This is a decent pace, and the referees have allowed the offenses to be patient, but we've seen Kincannon come up with 2 or 3 great saves. Matt Hoy, 1 or 2 really nice stops. So teams, Hofstra and Towson have had their opportunities. They just haven't been able to solve the goaltenders at the end of the day, but the deeper this game goes, we'll see. Do the players loosen up more? Do they tighten up a little bit more? You saw it last night in Duke, Notre Dame, with the Blue Devils trailing 4-0 for the longest time. And once that first goal dropped, it seemed like they gave them confidence, gave them the ability to go on a run. We'll see who can get some separation in this game. What I mean by separation, maybe a 2 or 3 goal lead, and see how that plays out the rest of the way.
Last year when they met on April 30th, 2016, no team had a larger lead than one. Hofstra's got a 2-goal lead once today, 3-1, but Towson's got right back in it. No lead yet today for the Tigers.
We'll see what Hofstra comes out in. Looks like they're in straight man. A lot of times teams take a timeout. You come out in a zone to throw them off a little bit, but looks like the Pride are going to stick with their man-to-man set.
So far, they've done the job on Drenner. 2 keys for Coach Tierney: interrupt his feed and stop his dodge. Though Towson has had some decent looks. Set by Young. Shot good! There's Drenner's first, with 5 seconds to spare in this first half.
Ryan Drenner with a Tiger goal, unassisted. Your score now.
Typically not a fan of the ball staying in one guy's stick in short time, but a big little. Set up behind by the Tigers. They're able to cycle the long pole, number 1, Brett Osmond, off of Drenner. And they get him on the short stick, Brendan Lynch, right there. And there you see Drenner, just a rocker step. Takes him above goal line, extended, fakes left, comes back right, and slots that thing far post. Beautiful individual effort by Ryan Drenner.
Woodall chugging forward, runs out of time. Drenner now has 155 career points. His Towson career, 84 goals. The senior has tied the score for his squad, 4-4. We'll be joined momentarily by Sean Nadalin, the head coach of the Tigers, with the score tied. Good pace, as Mark mentioned, this first half, but really evenly keeled We'll have Coach Nadelin joining us in just a moment. Hofstra at number 10 in the country. Towson, number 19, the winner, takes home CAA tournament home field advantage. Sean Nadelin joins us now. Coach, appreciate your time here. How did you draw things up for Ryan Drenner? He finally gets on the board. He just does so much to make your offense work.
He does. Everybody knows he's the quarterback of our offense. We wanted to get a pick, see if they got, would be able to get off a bad angle, possibly get a switch with the shorty, which we did, and we capitalized on it. So good, obviously good job by Coach G drawing that up. Good job by Ryan identifying, getting himself to a good spot, up above the cage, about 7 yards high for space for the inside roll, and buried it.
Guys, Coach, you're all even, 4-4 at halftime, 30 minutes to the number 1 seed in the CAA tournament. What is the message to the team at halftime?
We got to keep grinding. I think both ways we've been doing a decent job of that. We wanted to come out really playing, high energy and efficiency. I don't think we're as efficient as we can be right now. The nice thing is that we haven't allowed Hofstra to kind of spread a lead or anything like that, which they've been able to do on their opponents. So we got to be able to really generate some good things this second half, continue to keep pressure on, grind out possessions both ways, be smart and disciplined, and bury our opportunities.
Towson head coach Sean Nadelin, thanks for the time.
Great, thank you.
Tied score 4-4 at the half from Johnny Unitas Stadium. The score 4-4. We'll be back in a few minutes. Second half action coming, but first an update on everything that's happening on this busy Saturday in college lacrosse. Back to the LSN Broadcast Center.
Pre-game warm-ups. Matt Hoy has played incredibly well. There we see him get off to a great start. And there we see the shot, the spin around. Hoy's been solid between the pipes, and it's an effort that Towson needs. Kincannon, we knew about him. First-team All-American candidate. He's been as good as advertised. I love his discipline and the way he just plays so fundamental. Well, look at him on the pipe, turns, kick save, and a beaut. And he's just really done a terrific job of keeping Hofstra in this game and keeping things where they need to be for the Pride.
We had a large scoring drought. Josh Burns scored a goal with about 10 minutes left. There it was right there with 10 minutes to go in the first half. And here's how Ryan Drenner closed out the first half.
Yeah, back and forth. It's a slugfest. It's even. It's intense. That's what you expect out of Hofstra Towson Lacrosse.
Let's go down to Seth Tierney, head coach of Hofstra, joining us here before the start of the second half. Coach, how do you feel the pace went in that first half? Do you think you could carry that a little bit into the second half?
Yeah, I mean, I thought, obviously the scoreboard says it's a push. Now it's a 30-minute game. And, I think Mark just finished up saying, it's Hofstra Towson. This is a slugfest. It's a CAA. It's going to be punch for punch, a ground ball, a dive. Someone is going to have to make a blue-collar play to win this game. And that's just the way it's going to be.
You talk about 30 minutes, Coach. It's come down to that. What are the adjustments you see having to make in the second half?
Yeah, we got to clear the ball. We had 2 failed clears. We also had 2 guys that were short sticks that got beat by Dodgers. The Drenner one at the end there. We got to be able to support that. That's their best player. We got to be able to go there with a pole and get in his hands, make him make an extra pass or 2, and then all of a sudden instead of 4-4, it's 4-3 at the half. So we got to do a better job there. And then offensively, we just got to find our groove a little bit. They're very good defensively. We got to find our groove.
Coach, best of luck.
Thank you, guys.
As Coach Tierney mentioned, 30 minutes separate who gets home field advantage in the CAA tournament, which starts next Thursday. Mark, here's a look at the numbers. Towson with 4 more shot attempts, and good for Hofstra at the faceoff X. Gallagher got the start. Chris Clark came in, filled in nicely.
Yeah, Towson is not running away with the faceoff battle, which we thought could possibly happen here today. The goalies haven't faced a ton of shots, but when called upon, they've been efficient. And let's go. 30 minutes. Winner take all. Winner takes the CAA number 1 seed, the regular season title, and gets home field advantage. Are we hanging out at Coliseum Deli on Thursday, or are we going to Bill Bateman's? I mean, that's the big question between Hofstra and Towson.
Man, you are getting me hungry. But we still have 30 minutes of lacrosse
That's
to
right.
go to decide home field advantage. Chris Clark with 4 face-off victories in that second quarter alone. And the first one at the X heads Towson's way. Tigers will shoot on the right in the third quarter. Hofstra Pride on the left. Hoy getting squared up immediately.
Nice ride by Hofstra, just dropping back. And that's what Towson has to have happen. They have to have a shorty, cycle back, support, get the ball and clear. That's a midfielder's job. get the ball from defense to offense.
Coach Tierney there a moment ago mentioned the 2 failed clears. Hofstra, number 4 in the NCAA when it comes to clear percentage at 91%. They've been good there all year.
You want to be in that 90, 95% range. Obviously, Hofstra is at 91%. Terrific. I mean, you can have the best defense, you can have the best goaltender in the world, but if you can't get it from defense to offense, it really doesn't mean anything.
Here's Mazza. Angles back to the end line. Now it's Drenner matched up with Brett Osman, 6 foot 190 junior. 18 ground balls, 9 caused turnovers for one of the Hofstra defensemen. Mazza's got it back. 2 shot attempts today, and the backup for Sider. Joe D'Antonio, CAA commissioner, is joining us on the air. Good to talk to you again. This is what, about maybe 20 hours ago we were talking to each other from Drexel and UMass yesterday.
That's all it was. Great to be with you guys again. Appreciate you being here for us.
How about this atmosphere, a chance to see who gets home field in the CAA tournament? You must be happy that it comes down to 1 game and really 30 minutes of lacrosse.
Yeah, this is certainly a great game. We'll give the people in the office, the scheduling people in the office, a lot of credit for bringing this one to us. But with all kidding aside, couldn't really worked out any better for this day, for the sport, for the conference. Really exciting atmosphere. I feel like I'm in an NHL playoff game. That's the type of intensity we have.
Yeah, just going to ask you, Joe, you're down at field level. What is the vibe? What is the atmosphere here at Towson University?
Well, it's exactly what I just said. I've been over on the sideline for the entire first half, and you can really feel the intensity. It's ratcheted up a notch. You know, I just compared it to an NHL playoff game. I think the NHL regular season is a great sport, but when you get into the playoffs, everything just goes up, whether it's 9-fold, 10-fold, whatever it is, and that's what you can feel here today. You don't feel like you're at a regular season game. You can tell there's something on the line today.
Joe D'Antonio, CAA commissioner, on the air with us now in the 3rd quarter. Score tied 4-4. We just saw a great matchup a moment ago. Drenner up against Concannon. He got stopped.
Yeah, Towson enjoying what's amounting to right about now a 3-minute possession, keeping Hofstra on their toes.
Drenner loops it. The shot good. Tyler Young, 2nd today, and Towson's 1st lead of the game.
Wow.
Tiger goal number 23.
Hofstra came out in somewhat of a zone when the ball went below goal line extended. And that's what you want in these extended possessions. You want to have the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. You want to hit pay dirt. That's exactly what Towson does. And it's Drenner, with nobody behind the goal to get in his gloves to disrupt his feeding motion. He finds Young top side, and Young just steps into it. He's got such a good quick release. Fundamentally, doesn't get any better than that. And Concannon signaling he might have been screened on that one a little bit.
Another 2-point effort as well for Ryan Drenner, who found the opening. Young wide open with breathing room. Hey, Joe, one thing that I think is worthy of asking, how about the fact that, we know that year after year we'll speak on the rivalry between the 2 teams and players come and go, but Sean Nadalin, Seth Tierney, 2 great coaches for this league. As far as when you've worked with them off the field and even just being here for live events, what are these 2 coaches going up against each other, and even during the offseason, what do they bring to this conference?
Well, first of all, you can't talk about 2 better guys just in general. I thoroughly enjoy the time that I've spent with both of them, just in regular conversations about the conference. We just forget about talking lacrosse, and then obviously you get into a lacrosse conversation with them, incredibly knowledgeable about the sport. Great for the conference, great for the league, and even more importantly, great for their institutions and what they're doing for their student athletes.
Tanner Griffin, the defenseman, just wound up. He's got 2 goals this year. That was his 5th shot attempt of the season. Hofstra was there for the backup.
Hey, Joe, we got the conference tournament next week. We know it's either going to be here in Towson or up at Hofstra. UMass and Drexel round out the field. We don't know who's going to be playing who yet, but fans, what can they expect from the CAA tournament?
Well, all you have to do is look at what's happening here today and look at what happened yesterday in the game that you folks broadcast as well. And you don't have to go too far to see why these are the top 4 teams in the conference. I mean, the game yesterday, I know the score at times might have been a little lopsided, but the intensity was very high there as well. And credit to the UMass Minutemen. They came out and played a really hard game and fought hard to the end and pulled out the victory. And then again, as we've talked about here, two class organizations, two class teams, and it's going to be an unbelievable tournament. And I was talking to both coaches before the game, and what we were talking about was the fact that as we come into this tournament with these 4 teams, it's a wide open field.
CAA Commissioner Joe D'Antonio, hey, thanks for the time. We look forward to the rest of this game. Tierney coming up empty on that shot, and we look forward to next Thursday for the semifinals.
Well, thanks to you guys for being here. Thanks for Lacrosse Sports Network for all you're doing for the conference. It's a great partnership. We can't thank you enough.
Thanks so much. About 10 minutes to play. Thanks to Joe D'Antonio for his time. Great vantage point right there on top of the action.
Best seat in the house. Can't beat it. But nice defense by Towson. Good opportunity from Ryan Tierney. And Hofstra, for better or worse, is turning into a 2-man band on offense. Byrne and Tierney. I think they need to get a couple other guys involved. Balls in their stick all an awful lot.
Drenner opening, Young, another one! Hat trick for Tyler Young.
You talk often about how positive it can be to score a goal late in the quarter and how negative it can be to give one up. And so far for Towson, they have carried the momentum of that Ryan Drenner goal right before halftime here into the third quarter. Drenner, no surprise, and this is kind of a carbon copy of the last goal. Drenner at X, no one in his gloves, no one disrupting his feeding motion, finds Tyler Young up top, and he just hammers it home for his third. Nothing fancy about that, but great execution by the Towson Tigers.
Towson has scored 5 of the game's last 6 goals, and that's 3 in a row, 2 consecutive for Tyler Young. High school All-American. We mentioned he played his high school lacrosse at Arundel. Last year he had 8 goals, 10 assists. A little bit of a down year when you look at the numbers, but as far as his impact, senior leadership, a guy in the locker room that can get this team back to new heights, he's the man for the job. Tyler Mays forces the turnover. He's been at that all season long.
Great job by Mays. And you can see on that face-off after the third Young goal, or the goal that Young just scored, Alex Woodall thought that Hofstra jumped on the face-off. I mean, he really thought that was a violation against Chris Clark. He lazily got up out of his crouch, and then he goes and he shoves Clark from behind. It's just, sometimes you're going to get the calls and sometimes you're not. You just got to play. And Taylor Mays just completely bailed out Woodall and his lackluster effort on that last face-off for Towson.
Hofstra to slow things down. Mentioned today here at Johnny Unitas Stadium, Towson not only going for home field, but had its senior day today. How fitting, all 6 goals from seniors today.
Again, this is a senior class that's had great success here for Towson. Quarterfinal appearance a year ago. NCAA tournament first round where they gave Notre Dame everything that they could handle before falling to the Fighting Irish. Timeout is taken, I believe, by Towson.
Timeout, Towson.
So a timeout for Sean Nadalin. One thing he'll be pleased about, Tyler Mays, the long stick midi, one of the best at forcing turnovers as a long stick midfielder.
He's come to play, and watch him just dissect the Hofstra player. Good bottom hand check. You smack the bottom hand to make the top hand come out. And that's exactly what Mays did. Takes away the Hofstra player's lunch money, Griffin Barnathan, and then look at the trail. Great job, and then keeps it loose. Ball goes out of bounds, and just a minute ago, Mays restart. Little interesting, Hofstra elected to go with a long pole, and Mays made quick work of that gentleman right there. So great cause turnovers, good takeaways by Tyler Mays at the long stick midfield position for the Tigers.
Yeah, he's done it against Michael Diener, a defenseman with that long pole. That second highlight that you saw was against the short stick, Luke Gomez. You know what's interesting when you look at Towson defensively, and someone like Mays, who is playing the midfielder position with the long stick. Hofstra on defense, we know all about Jack Concannon, but there's not a single Hofstra defenseman with double-digit caused turnovers. So sometimes you question the protection he has out in front. No question, with the use of Josh Miller and Matt Hoy, both can go into every game pretty confident with the defense in front of them.
Well, I think it's also style.
True.
And Hofstra has always had a more conservative style of defense. They've never really had, you know, I mean, you could look at the Nicky Polancos of the past and players like that that are a little bit more flashy, try to take the ball away from you, but typically Hofstra is a very fundamentally sound, position-oriented, you know, slide, recover, help defense. There's really nothing fancy. It's a very meat and potatoes kind of unit, whereas Towson, they're a little bit more risk-taking.
Alderman's already scored today. Hoy deflects it using the flick of his wrists. Rebound. Mosier attempting to grab it. Now Patterson goes down. Towson does come up to it, and good to see Patterson rise to his feet.
Yeah, Josh Burns just pasted Patterson.
Conan has the ball. And Towson can slow it up. 2-goal lead. They've scored 5 of the last 6 in this game. 3 in a row for the Tigers. Hofstra got the win, Towson got the win at Hofstra, 8-7 last year in the final game of the regular season. Both teams were selective in the first half. Towson can absolutely be selective with a 2-goal cushion. Sider fires, bounces wide.
I think you keep playing the way that you've played up to this point because the X factor is the referees, the officials. How much rope are they going to give you if you stop playing offense the way you've been playing offense through the first 2.5 quarters of this game?
Only 2-goal leads in this one. Hofstra had a 3-1 lead. And here's Towson with a 6-4 advantage, 6.5 to play in the third quarter. Drenner draws the double. Tanner Griffin now has to elude back to Tyler Conan. Lynch the dump to Drenner. Looking to feed the crease. Drenner jabbing middle. Over to Mazza. Shot clock has not turned on once today. Wind up, a fire by Sider. Deflects off the stick of Concannon. Another save. That's 5 today for the potential All-American.
Good job by Concannon. I mean, that's key. They're down by 2. You cannot allow Towson to get up by 3. So big save by Concannon to keep this game within striking distance for the Pride.
Barnathan, the sophomore, loops it over to Byrne. Hofstra hasn't scored since the 10-minute mark of that second quarter. It was Byrne on that controversial goal when he fell forward towards the cage.
Yeah, garbage goal. Fortunate for Hofstra that it counted and was scored. But you haven't scored a conventional goal since Tierney with that rip before the Byrne tally.
Hofstra's middies trying to do the job. Tierney finds breathing room, but misfires.
Well, I know we've mentioned it, but Hofstra really only runs about 6-7 deep offensively. Towson's used a little bit more bodies here today on a hot day in Towson.
One of those box lacrosse players, Jimmy Yanis, a name who's been quiet in this one. Yanis, that was just his second shot attempt.
And he got popped after shooting that one. And not the best shot in the world because Hofstra had no one behind the goal to serve as backup.
Yanis is just a sophomore. He missed all of last season with an ACL tear. Zach Goodrich, the man on your screen right now, shouting at whoever he may please. We'll get things arranged here. Yeah, Yanis, he's just 5'8", 170. Has 3 hat tricks on the season. So it is Towson ball with 4.5 to go in the third. Wiley over the middle.
Late hit on Hofstra.
Flag came in. Now it's Lynch. Stares off to his left, surveys the look defensively. Drenner starts to glance over the end line, following Conan. Home field for the CAA tournament at stake this afternoon in Towson, Maryland.
This is a free possession for Towson with the flag down. They can still be hit with a shot clock, but if I'm the Tigers, you can try to milk this and set something up, because that flag down denotes possession. If you don't score, you're getting it right back, and if you do score, it's a personal foul. It'll be a man-up face-off.
Lynch back over to Drenner. Osman covering. Shot clock is on, yep. Mazza gets his lane shut down. Bounce stop by Wiley. 15 to shoot. Conan flicks it, stop Concannon. Off the pipe middle. And Gomez retrieved it.
Referees actually blew that one dead a little prematurely as Hofstra did not gain possession. The shot hits Concannon. If it's a goal, a save, or a pipe, the shot clock is wiped off. So at this point, the shot clock is wiped off. And the Towson coaching staff was upset that the whistle was blown prematurely before Hofstra getting possession, because had Towson gotten it back, they would have had another push to score with the flag down.
So this is the first man-up chance for Towson today. Ryan Tierney, unnecessary roughness. He is sidelined for a minute. Towson this year, last in the conference, 27% clip on the man-up. Hofstra defensively has held teams to 34% on man-down defense. Lynch winds up wide.
Good offense by Towson, 27%, nothing to write home about. You want to be up in that 35, 37% range. But that was a good opportunity for Mikey Lynch.
Yeah, 8 for 30, just 8 man-up goals. Lynch, why not try again? Sails wide and upstairs. He's had a quick trigger today, the senior Mike Lynch. 8 shots to lead the team. Sider picks him up though. 4 in a row for Towson and a 3-goal lead on Hofstra.
Joe Sider with a technical assistant.
Lynch got a couple really high-quality looks. And then Drenner says, I'm not going to mess around anymore. Let me get it to the big guy. Over on the right, and that's Joe Sider. And Sider is just going to wind up and let it rip. Nice three-quarter release. Bounces it off the turf. Drenner finds him. And Drenner, the celebration, you can't see it, it's off camera behind the goal, but these Tigers are excited with now a 3-goal cushion.
Big step-down shooter, Joe Sider, 6'3", 215 from Sparks, Maryland. He's now tied for 3rd all-time for goals in a Towson uniform, 113. A name that sort of gets forgotten sometimes when you highlight Ryan Drenner, his quarterbacking ability. And Drenner just spreads it out so well. When you really need Sider to come in and give you a strike, he can.
Well, that's the hallmark of any good team, balance and scoring distribution. You just don't want, one player to be the focus of the defense. I mean, obviously some guys are going to get more attention than others. A team that comes to mind that fits that bill perfectly is Ohio State, a team that knocked off Towson earlier this season, 6-3. But that's a group they've got 7 or 8 guys, 9 guys that can score goals. And Towson is the same way when you talk about Sider and Drenner and Mazza. Tyler Young having a great day here today. Mike Lynch. When you have all those weapons, you just can't key on one particular aspect.
Conan tripped up. Sider again. Pump of the fist. 4-goal lead for the Tigers.
Joe Sider with the Tiger goal assisted by Tyler.
He's always lurking. He's always just below the surface, ready to pounce. Great job again. The ball movement by Towson. The ball movement by the Tigers has been better offensively today than Hofstra has. It doesn't stay in anybody's stick for more than 3 seconds or so. Just a nice dodge up the wing. Sider sees the open slot, takes the feed from Conan, and just hammers it home. Great job by Joe Sider.
So now Sider stands alone, third all-time in Towson goal scoring.
Well, Woodall's picked his game up over the last couple minutes too, just winning face-offs cleanly and efficiently.
He's won 5 of the last 6 at the X. Conan has played a huge role today. If your name is Tyler or Mike, and then we'll throw Joe in there too, you've had a pretty good day in this contest on the Towson side.
If you're a senior, you've had a pretty good day.
Good point. All goals by seniors today. Sider with 2 more. Very fitting. On this mild day, end of April, May around the corner, Towson and Hofstra want to make a run. But who gets home field? We still have just about a quarter and 25 seconds to go to find out.
Mild? Well, you really are from Massachusetts. This is hot. This is hot down here. It's hot.
Hey, I can agree with you. We'll both take it. We'll both take it.
I'll take it, yeah. Mild, though. Come on, man.
Mazda Drenner. He closed the second quarter with the goal. This one sails above the pipe. 4 seconds to spare. Quick pass middle. Lynch couldn't pick it up and clean it up for Towson. But a very strong third quarter. Hofstra does not score a single goal in the third. And Towson outscores the Pride 4-0 in that third quarter. We'll step aside, come back for the final 15 minutes. Towson 8, Hofstra 4. It's the CAA Game of the Week, and it's on Lacrosse Sports Network. Johnny Unitas Stadium, the site going to the fourth quarter. Towson on top of Hofstra, 8-4. Towson, a victory. It is the CAA tournament coming back to Towson, Maryland. It was here last year UMass at 3, Drexel at 4 for now. So here are the scenarios. Hofstra with the victory, they get home field. This was the scenario going into yesterday. Drexel did indeed lose 14-8 to UMass. Drexel just lost its chance at number 1, but hey, it's there for the taking. We started today in our open, even talking with both coaches, the chance to sleep in your own bed, the chance to be familiar with where you are, your surroundings, your pregame routine. That's all at stake here in these final 15 minutes.
Controlling your own destiny. And Towson has converted that late goal right before halftime by Ryan Drenner, and they've just had all the momentum. Nice job by Hofstra. You got to make this face-off a 50-50 ground ball, tie up Woodall, and get your wings involved to win possessions, because now it's go time if you're the Pride.
Pays off that time. Michael Altman, a freshman defenseman, had it momentarily. Look at Mays again. He's been outstanding today, forcing the ball loose. And Seth Tierney, the head coach, livid on the sideline.
Didn't really see anything there. I just see Tyler Mays just taking it to the long stick for Hofstra. Nice defense, hounding, throws a lot of checks. But the player for Hofstra had 2 hands on his stick, so even if you make contact with the glove, that's a legal check.
Hofstra coming into this one, the top scoring team in the conference, close to 12 goals a game, held scoreless in that third quarter. And we just discussed this a moment ago. What needs to change here offensively?
First, they need to get the ball,
right,
which they have now.
Alderman has already scored today, comes up short.
But that's Hofstra's offense. It's one guy going. Towson doing a great job of spinning it, getting everybody a touch, finding guys open on the backside, and that's a luxury they can have because they've dominated possession here in the second half. Hofstra hasn't had the ball as much, but a lot of 1v1, a lot of one-man gang kind of approach for Hofstra.
Jimmy Yanis, dumped to Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh, tough dodge, sprinkles it outward. Alderman fires and buries it. Five-goal run for Towson comes to a close, a much-needed goal. Alderman's second today.
Get a flag down. I think it's a hold call, so the flag will be wiped out by the goal. There you see it right there, and then Alderman just ahead of steam, times the checks of Mays. You can see the great run to the alley. He felt that check come down, and watch it right here. Check, sprint, and you just know when it's going to be coming back. So great job by Alderman. We'll see if this changes and reverses the fortunes of the Hofstra Pride.
Yeah, at some point you'd think Towson would read into, or pardon, Hofstra would read into those checks by Mays. He's been excellent today. Woodall, the face-off victory. Young here on the offensive side for the Tigers.
Big face-off win. That was a hold, was what the flag was for. Technical foul, so it's wiped out by the goal. We're back at even strength. But Hofstra's done a better job on the last two face-offs, making it more of a challenge for Woodall, not winning it clean, having to scrap for it. But that time Woodall, give him credit, picked up the ground ball, absorbed the check, and got it into the hands of his offensive teammates.
Young has 3 goals today. Flicks it to Mazza. Stop on the brakes by Lynch. Drenner, tough angle. Gobbled up though by Concannon.
Play on right there by the officials is Drenner. Again, this is an all or nothing proposition. Deeks inside. Doesn't get pushed. He's laying in the crease right there, which led to the play on. Goalie got it up clean, and Concannon. Hofstra's cleared, and the Pride just 1 goal at a time trying to chip away at this Towson 3-goal lead.
Very big goal about 2 minutes ago by Alderman to halt a 5-0 Towson run. Hofstra would love the opportunity to host the CAA tournament. They've been stellar at home this year. 6-1 record. Mosier gets it to Tierney. Sid Ewell covering with the long pole. Screen by the midi Alderman. Tierney, tough shot, flicks off the pipe. Oh, big sigh of relief for Matt Hoy and Cage for Towson.
Nasty release by Ryan Tierney. That was sweet. Just rings off the post.
Kavanaugh getting matched up with Goodrich. The midi comes away with it momentarily. Whistle blows just in front of that Towson Tiger logo. It'll be Towson possession.
Well, foul on Kavanaugh, but you can see how much that ground ball meant to him. He's using everything he can to try to get it back, and just took that free hand and wrapped it around the shoulder of the Towson player. Good call, loose ball hold, and Tigers back on offense.
Drenner settles things down per usual. Numbers side by side. Towson has taken 9 more shots. 14 on goal to Hofstra's 10. Tigers have won 11 of the 17 total faceoffs. Drenner covered. Lynch off his screen. Now Gomez, the two-way midi. 10 minutes to play in regulation. Sider has scored Towson's last 2 goals. Uncostly turnover there. That's number 10 of the afternoon on the Towson side. Hofstra has 9.
You just got to take care of the ball better if you're Towson. You can't have those kind of giveaways. 3-goal lead. It's a dangerous Hofstra team offensively. Just cannot give them free possessions.
From your sort of mindset now, I don't think Josh Byrne involved here. I feel like we haven't called his name much in this second half.
Chad Patterson's done a great job on him all game long for the Towson Tigers. I think you try to just set some screens for him.
Alderman at it again. Hat trick for the junior from Dowington, Pennsylvania. 2-goal game. This midi has stepped up today for the Pride.
Well, it starts with the turnover from Towson. Way too easy, just throwing the ball out of bounds. And watch Alderman split the Towson D right there. If you're Sid Ewell, you got to come better with a slide, stick in the gloves, get a lift, maybe a little shoulder. It's not about taking the guy out. It's more about just knocking Dodgers off their line. And Alderman right there had a beeline to the goal. Nothing kept him away from the cage, and you just got to disrupt him a little bit. No, not right there. Jack Adams a little bit unhappy with Ewell and his slide. And Hofstra has cut this lead down to 2.
Alderman had a monster game against UMass. 4 goals on 6 shots. Also picked up an assist and a ground ball. So 7 goals in the last 2 games. Crucial time of year. Not a bad showing by the Hofstra junior.
Well, that's the adjustment Hofstra's made at the face-off. They're now facing off with a long pole. But you can't give it back after you work so hard to get that face-off win.
Yeah, lackadaisical lob. Patterson's got it for Towson.
That's a nice individual effort by Patterson. Walk the dog, put that ball low to the ground, arm extended, use his big body to keep himself between the Hofstra player and his stick, and that was a nice individual effort. Good clear by Patterson.
He's really grown as a player. 8 games played as a freshman a season ago on closed defense. He's played in every game this year as a starter. 21 ground balls, 10 caused turnovers. 8.5 to play, 4th quarter. Wiley feeds over to Sider. Drenner wants to keep it whipping around. Lynch to Young, 3 goals today, make it 4. He cannot be stopped this afternoon.
Tyler Young, this is just wicked. Great release. Jack Concannon just could not catch up to it. Like the little drag, draw the double team, and look at Young just step in. He said, you're gonna give me this space in front of the goal? I mean, that's about a good 4 or 5 yard cushion that Young has. He's able to step into it and just hammer it. Beautiful shot, Tyler Young.
4-goal game today, entered the game with 4 goals all season.
Why not? Senior day. Number 1 seed on the line.
Woodall shovels it over to that's Mays, pardon, not Bolowicki. And the trend continues. 9 goals, all from seniors for the Towson Tigers today. Mays got it poked back from behind. He was looking to wind up and rocket one.
Oh, great trail check by Tanner Griffin, dislodging the ball. And I tell you, when long poles get into that situation and they rear back to shoot, their eyes get as big as the moon. And Griffin just came back and was able to make that check. I mean, that goal by Young, we'll see what happens on this possession for Hofstra. That could be the backbreaker. That could be the one. Hofstra's on a 2-goal run. Things are starting to go their way a little bit. Get a stop, and you're going down the other end with a chance to trim the advantage to 1. And Tyler Young just, again, that was a blast that goes by Kincannon.
9 is a good number. And that being said, because Towson, as Alderman comes up empty, averages 8 goals allowed a game. That's 9th in the country. They like the games inside 10 goals apiece. Kavanaugh bodied up by the short stick, Goodrich. Feed middle, quick wind up, top left 90, no. Byrne comes up short. Jack Adams fighting for it for Towson. Deflected the other way, Sider has it. Towson wins that battle.
Byrne just can't buy one. That looked like it hit the far post. They finally get him free off of a screen, gets a look, and just can't cash it in. And then the ground ball work on the other end. It wasn't over and back because it was Jack Adams for Towson that sent it over the midfield line. Then he was able to hunt it down and get possession for his team. But watch out, the Pride have numbers.
Griffin the takeaway, over to Brendan Lynch, roaming in transition. Feed to the middle, Byrne couldn't reel it in. Now a game of chase as Livingston gets it over to Hoy. He's smothered. And Towson gets it over the line. Byrne, by the way, 5 shot attempts, just 1 goal, coming off a 5-goal game, 3 assists against UMass. He was the CAA Player of the Week.
Well, and that 1 goal was a heady goal.
Right.
But it was a garbage goal where the ball was loose and he just flicked it into the net. And Towson, their game plan has been to limit number 22 for the Pride, and they've done a tremendous job of that thus far in this game. And a missed opportunity on that 4-on-3 fast break. I thought Yanis tried to just jam it into Byrne a little too much, forced it to number 22. The trailer was a long stick midfielder, but I give it to the trail before I try to thread the needle on a guy that's double teamed.
Drenner almost lost his footing. Lynch getting a pair of screens to Kinnear. He's a sophomore. Keep an eye on Young. Let's see what happens in this sequence. For now, covered up. 5 minutes to play. Regulation. Winner of this one has home field advantage in the CAA tournament.
Shot clock is on against Towson. They've got 20 seconds to shoot.
Great defense by Barnathan. Osman collects the ground ball for Hofstra. Settles underneath, but a failed clear. Drenner's got it.
Well, something that's not going to show up in the stat sheet was Tyler Young riding and turning the Hofstra long pole, Osman, back. Not only does the guy have 4 goals, that was an incredible ride that made the long stick midi turn around, have to put the ball back in his defensive end, and that's when Drenner was able to create the turnover.
Lynch underneath to Drenner. Under 4 to go. Drenner gets a screen from Conan. Gomez attempting to size him up. Opening shot. Conan has it saved by Concannon. That is save number 7.
Seth Tierney talked about the failed clears in the first half. That one that Osman just was turned back on is going to come back to haunt him, but good save by Concannon. You got 3.5 minutes left to go in the game. It's got to be pedal to the metal right now for Hofstra.
There's something to be said about this Towson team. You see the 2-3 home record. That can be deceiving. There was a really tough stretch in the month of March. Johns Hopkins, Ohio State, and Denver all came to Johnny Unitas Stadium. Those 3 games, those tough non-conference affairs, get you ready for closeout games like this.
And Towson went 1-2, knocking off Hopkins, losing to Ohio State and Denver. But not only does it get you ready for conference play.
Mosier falling down to the turf, puts it through.
Not only does it get you ready for conference play, but you have a nice win in your back pocket against Johns Hopkins that you can cash in on Selection Sunday. But nice ball movement. When Hofstra moves the ball and shares the ball, they are very good. And this is just a nice, Alderman runs out of real estate, you bang it to X, you whip it backside where the defense has to rotate to and recover from, and there you find Mosier. And how about the handle? And he knows he's going to get hit. This is big boy lacrosse right here. You know you're going to get dropped when you catch a ball in the heart of the defense. Beautiful catch, shoot, score. Hofstra trims the lead down to 2.
Mosier, a redshirt junior, career season for him, 16 goals. Last year he had no goals in 10 games played. Woodall heading to the bottom of the net, no good. Concannon the save, number 8. I don't know about that one. 9-7, 2.5 to go. Woodall decides to speed it up. Here comes Hofstra with numbers. Gomez has it swiped by Mays again.
Well, I was going to say great clear by Gomez, but Mays, the takeaway artist for Towson, picks his pocket and gets the ball back for the Tigers.
3 ground balls, 3 caused turnovers today for the long stick midi Tyler Mays. So 32 caused turnovers on the year and 18 in CAA play.
Unbelievable.
Under 2 to go in the 4th quarter. Can Towson hold on to host the CAA tournament for the 2nd straight year? You look back a year ago, Towson fell to Loyola in the NCAA quarters. Upset number 2 Denver in the first round. They want to get back there. They know it will make it much easier on themselves to play here at Johnny Unitas Stadium. 90 seconds to play.
Empty net for Hofstra. Shot clock on Towson.
Drenner escapes. He fires and scores. That could very well put the nail in the coffin and solidify home field advantage. Ryan Drenner wants to stay home.
Hofstra does what they have to do. They empty the net. Shot clock is on. Drenner, this is smart. He runs to open space. He sees that there's guys behind the goal for Towson, and there's going to be able to have a backup should he miss, but why not? Take the open net shot. Recognizes that his man's streaking down right there to run the shot out of bounds should he miss. Good decision, good execution. The Tigers up by 3.
5-point day for Ryan Drenner. 2 goals, 23 now on the season, and 3 assists. He's got 20 dimes on the year, both team highs. Woodall getting poked at from behind. Barnathan had it for a moment. Goodrich shoves him away. That was Michael Altman, by the way, who took the face-off for Hofstra. Closed defenseman. Minute to go.
Tyler Mays just getting harassed there in the middle of the field. Did a good job of keeping his composure and giving it up to his goaltender. If you're Hofstra, 3-goal, and there you see Byrne just whacking Matt Hoy.
Wiley gets it over the timeline. Osman trying to shut him down with Puckhaber, the long stick, and a timeout for Towson. And the head coach, Sean Nadelin. Flowrider songs are getting turned on now at Johnny Unitas Stadium. It is a good feeling indeed. Towson a chance to host. And don't forget, next Thursday, we will have all of the coverage of the CAA semifinals. They're coming to Lac Sports Network. See the top 4 teams from the regular season square off. 4 teams in: Drexel, UMass, Hofstra, and Towson. The semifinals set for May 4th. Regular season champions are the host. The women's tournament is also here at Towson University.
Unless there's a miracle in the next 36 seconds for Hofstra, the CAA semifinals will be here at Towson University. Towson will square off against Drexel. Hofstra will tangle with UMass.
How about Towson, Mark, though? They've displayed different ways to win all year long. They can win that close, 8-7, 7-6 game. They can put some goals on the board too, though. All the goals coming from seniors, which is just magnificent on a senior day. They can beat you in a multitude of ways.
And I think the biggest hole has been goaltending. And Matt Hoy played well today. He didn't play out of his mind, but he made some saves early, where Hofstra loves to jump on teams in that first quarter. And Sean Adelin said it to us at halftime. He said it to us during the week. They needed to come out with a good start. They needed to come out with energy and emotion, and Hoy made some plays and made some saves that allowed them to do just that.
If Hofstra stays at the 7 goals, that would be a season low. The next lowest was 9 goals against St. John's. That was a win back in March. Of course, Hofstra is 11-1 entering this game. Final 12 seconds, a scramble of blue and white jerseys. Osman comes up with it, feeds over the middle. Quick wind-up, shot good, Jimmy Yanis. That is his first today. 4 seconds remaining.
Too little too late. Good shot by Yanis. But if you're Hofstra, you go home, you lick your wounds, and you come back down 95 next week to go after that CAA championship. Good look underneath. Yanis made himself available, post up, and puts a rocket past Matt Hoy. Good way to end it for Hofstra on a positive note. They fought back. Look, they fought back here in the fourth quarter. A little bit too much Alex Woodall, a little bit too much Ryan Drenner, and a lot too much of Tyler Young.
Likely the final face-off today. Woodall plucks it, and that'll do it. For the second straight year, the CAA tournament is coming to Johnny Unitas Stadium. The Towson Tigers defeat the Hofstra Pride 10-8 and claim home field advantage for next week's CAA tournament. Sean Nadelin's squad celebrates and shakes hands. 10-8 the final. Mark and I will return moments from now. We'll have the head coach, Sean Nadelin. The CAA Game of the Week is on Lacrosse Sports Network.
Right here at Unitas Stadium. Visit
10-8 victory for Towson to claim the #1 seed and the regular season title in the CAA. And also the CAA tournament will be coming to Johnny Unitas Stadium next week. Mark Dixon and Brendan Glasheen along with you. We had a great effort today out of both teams, but when it comes down to it, Towson played the more complete game. 10 goals, all from seniors. Top to bottom, they were impressive. They really dictated the pace of this one.
Down 4-3 right before halftime. Ryan Drenner scored what proved to be the pivotal goal of the game. Towson then went on a 5-goal run to turn a 4-3 deficit into an 8-4 advantage, and from there it was just managing the game, getting a couple ground balls, a couple saves. Tyler Mays was great, a lot of calls, turnovers. Every time Hofstra seemed to make a move to try to get back in the game, number 33 in the white, black, and gold came up with a big stop. And Matt Hoy played well between the pipes, did a good job.
Yeah, the Pride had a season low in goals in a game this year with a total of 8. We have Tyler Young, who is joining us now down on the sideline. Tyler, great game for you, 4 goals. You had 4 all year coming into this game. But just how about this effort out of your senior class? You score all the goals. All the seniors had goals today.
I didn't know that, but it's pretty cool on a day like this, senior day, battling for a home field advantage in the CAA tournament. And coaches talked about it all week for our seniors to come out and lead by example and have a big game, and I think we did that.
Another one of your classmates, Matt Hoy. It was a little undecided who was going to start between the pipes for Towson here today, but Hoy gets the nod and especially early made a couple critical saves.
Yeah, I think he started out. Defense gave him some good looks, some easy saves, and then of course he had a couple just right off his head. He was in the right spots all day. And he played huge for us today, especially with the way they shoot the ball. I think they shoot over 30% in the season, and we needed that out of him today to get a win.
Yeah, easy for us to say up here that it was a very physical game, but how was it out there in terms of just the physicality and the emotion of this Hofstra-Towson rivalry?
I mean, it's huge. Just every CAA game is like that. We like to call ourselves the blue-collar conference, and I think our play shows it for a reason. We all come out. We're all really physical teams, and same thing happened last year where it came down to the last game, who's going to host the CAA tournament. So, I mean, of course, that adds to the juice a little bit, and I'm sure they wanted to come in here and ruin our senior day. I know I would if I were them, and luckily we just came out, and we played really well today.
You guys have the #1 seed. You're going to host the CAA tournament again. What does that mean for this lacrosse team and for the Towson program?
It's huge. It's always one of our goals every season is the first step, win the CAA regular season, host a tournament. But, I mean, it's just another goal, another stepping stone in where we want to get to. Now we just got to win the CAA tournament, and we do that one game at a time.
Tyler, congratulations. Thanks for your time, and best of luck next week.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Tyler Young, a great game. Had 4 goals, and like we told him there, 4 goals all year. And Coach Sean Nadalin will join us now. Coach, I just told Tyler Young. Well, we'll have Coach in just a second, pardon me, as we get ready for Coach Nadalin to join us. And he's on headset now. Coach Sean Nadalin joining us here after the win. Coach, first and foremost, congratulations. CAA regular season champions. You will be at home. You'll be sleeping in your own bed for the next week, getting ready for next week. But I just told Tyler Young that all 10 goals came from seniors. What does that mean to you for this class to have that type of day?
It's exciting, obviously, for our program to earn this win, to earn the regular season championship first and foremost. To have those guys have the impact in this game, being that it was senior day, and obviously they've had a strong impact in our program for their 4 years, is obviously indicative of what those guys are about and answering the bell when we really needed them, most here at the season finale, regular season finale, and hopefully we can carry that into the playoffs here.
Talking this week, Coach, the goalie situation was a little bit unsettled. Matt Hoy, another senior, comes out, especially early, made some great plays. How would you assess his effort, and what kind of boost did he give to your team?
Yeah, without seeing the film yet, I think he was solid. Can't really think of too many bad ones or any kind of bad ones that come to mind quickly. The things that were really helpful were his athleticism out of the cage at times. He brings great athleticism there. Even though we had to burn a timeout early in that third quarter with him hustling to get possession off a shot out of bounds. He made up for it with a couple other steals for us. So he gives us great energy. He's been pretty dialed in, so hopefully we can keep that moving forward.
And Coach, last thing for you here, as far as preparation for next week, what's sort of the next step here as you look at probably tape from this game, but how do you get your guys ready for this stage and a chance to go back to the big dance?
It's a great opportunity. Obviously this is where we expect to be. We expect to be in the CAA playoffs, hopefully hosting, earning that regular season championship, which we've done. So these are our expectations coming through and us fulfilling those. The next step is, take on a semifinal opponent and prepare our best for them, a team that we haven't seen since the first week of CAA play, so we got to get familiar with what kind of they're about, how they've changed. The CAA games are always a battle, regular season, and even more so in the playoffs. So we got to get our guys healthy, stay healthy as best we can, get as much prep as we can to get focused on our opponent as well as ourselves getting better.
Well, congratulations on the win, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Great, thanks so much.
Sean Nadalin's crew with the 10-8 victory. Towson, the regular season champions in 2017 in the CAA tournament. So once again, our final score: Towson, number 19 in the country, 10, and Hofstra, number 10 in the nation, with 8 goals today. Thanks for watching the CAA Game of the Week on Lac Sports Network. For Mark Dixon and our entire crew, my name is Brendan Glasheen. Coming up on LSN, it is the CAA postgame show. So long from Johnny Unitas Stadium.